A quick warning about the last challenge in today's video. It delves into some pretty heavy topics. If you or anyone you know needs help, I've linked some services below. With every year, we see a fresh new set of TikTok trends. Some of these are just fun and simple, just something to laugh at with your friends, whereas some of them involve boiling chicken in NyQuil and eating it. I'm not sure how stupid you need to be to do that, but apparently people are that stupid. And the crazy thing is, that's actually pretty tame compared to some of the challenges we're going to talk about today. Challenges so brutal they ended up with people paralyzed. Challenges so stupid they ended up with people on fire. And challenges so messed up that they ended over 200 lives. Today, lady and man, we are taking a deep dive into the most deadly challenges to ever trend on TikTok. And buckle up, because some of these get pretty f***ed up. For the sake of entertainment and the sake of my engagement metrics, we're gonna go in order of least deadly to most deadly. But when I say least deadly, don't get it twisted. These challenges are still stupid.
With outcomes that range from victorious to utterly disastrous, the so-called milk crate challenge has captured the attention of the masses for all the wrong reasons.
The milk crate challenge swept across TikTok in the summer of 2021. Many thought it was harmless at first, but I don't think anyone participating in the trend knew much about structural safety. Participants stacked milk crates in a pyramid, creating a plastic staircase and attempting to climb to the top. Videos of people losing balance, falling, and eating shit quickly went viral, often leading to millions of views. But the thing is, some of these attempts led to serious and sometimes life-altering injuries. Hospitals across the United States reported a large rise in emergency room visits directly linked to the milk crate challenge. In one case, a young man in Dallas fell backwards while attempting the challenge, landing on his neck. He suffered a spinal cord injury that left him partially paralyzed. TikTok was eventually forced to remove the hashtag and try and bring a stop to this challenge, but the damage was already kinda done. The death count for the milk crate challenge was technically 3, but it wasn't the challenge that ended lives. It was actually a drive-by while people were attempting this challenge. So I guess the is a 0? I don't know.
She learned about the challenge where kids apparently set rubbing alcohol on fire. Now she has a message for the rest of us.
The fire challenge is probably one of the dumbest trends to gain traction on TikTok. And I'm pretty sure reading the name gives you an idea of the consequences that this challenge caused. The challenge involves TikTokers pouring flammable liquids such as rubbing alcohol or body spray on their bodies and, setting themselves on fire. The whole point of this challenge was to try and extinguish the flames quickly so you didn't get burned. But as I thought we all would have learned by now, fire is very unpredictable. In 2021, a 13-year-old girl from Oregon attempted the challenge. She was filming herself in her bathroom when the challenge quickly went very, very wrong. The fire spread rapidly, engulfing her clothes and leaving her with third-degree burns over most of her body. She was airlifted to a hospital and placed in the ICU. She spent months undergoing painful surgeries and skin grafts, but her life was changed forever. Thankfully, the count for this challenge was also 0.
2 New Jersey 7th graders are facing criminal charges over the Skullbreaker challenge. The challenge is causing serious injuries offline.
The Skullbreaker challenge is one of the most dangerous trends to emerge on TikTok. It involves 3 people standing in a row, with the 2 people either side kicking the legs out from under the person in the middle, which causes them to fall backwards. The challenge, which quickly went viral, often resulted in serious injuries. One of the most tragic cases involved a 13-year-old boy from Brazil who suffered a traumatic brain injury after participating in the challenge at his school. His classmates convinced him to try it, and when they kicked his legs, he fell backwards and struck his head on the concrete. He was rushed to hospital, but later died from his injuries. The death of the Skullbreaker challenge is still a little bit unclear, but it's said that it is at least 4.
This guy is putting his life at risk. It's called car surfing, hanging onto a vehicle as it speeds down a roadway.
The car surfing challenge made waves on TikTok. The challenge saw users climbing out the window of a moving vehicle, crawling to the roof and surfing the moving car. It seemed to have started trending parallel to the Kia Boys trend. You remember those guys? I never understood the flex of stealing a Kia. Now, obviously it doesn't need to be told what risks this challenge comes with. Sadly, in one tragic case, 16-year-old after falling off the roof of a moving car while attempting the challenge. The down of the car surfing challenge reached a total of 6.
Because of videos on social media encouraging people to take 12 to 14 pills to cause a hallucination.
In 2020, the challenge began trending on TikTok, encouraging participants to take large doses of over-the-counter allergy medicine to induce hallucinations. The idea was simple: film yourself after consuming enough to trip. One of the most tragic cases involved 15-year-old from Oklahoma. He had seen the trend on TikTok and decided to try it. Unaware of how much she was taking, we consumed a lethal dose. Shortly after, she collapsed and began seizing. Her family rushed her to the hospital, but it was too late. Her heart had stopped. Medical professionals issued stark warnings about the danger of the challenge, explaining that high doses of Benadryl can cause severe heart complications, seizures, and even. Despite these warnings, several other teenagers ended up in hospitals after attempting the trend. TikTok eventually began removing videos and banning the hashtag, but the damage was already done. The down of the challenge is still fairly unclear, but it is confirmed to be over 10.
It's called the Blackout Challenge, where children choke themselves or hold their breath until they pass out. The principals say they've had 2 recent incidents, and in one case, the student ended up in the hospital.
The Blackout Challenge, also known as the game, is one of the most disturbing trends to resurface on TikTok. The challenge tells people to hold their breath or restrict oxygen to their brain until they pass out, claiming that it creates a brief euphoric feeling. In January 2021, a 10-year-old girl tragically lost her life after attempting the Blackout Challenge. Parents found her unconscious in her bedroom, her phone nearby, still open on TikTok.
It's time that these dangerous challenges come to an end, that other families don't experience the heartbreak we live every day.
In Colorado, 12-year-old Joshua was discovered by his twin brother after attempting this challenge. He was rushed to the hospital and placed on life support, but tragically passed away days later. And despite these tragedies, the challenges continued to resurface. Experts warn that children and teens are particularly vulnerable to the challenge, as their brains are more susceptible to impulsive behavior and risk-taking. The death of the Blackout Challenge is said to be over 20.
It's called the Blue Whale Challenge. One school district taking to social media with a warning, writing, "It's basically a challenge to harm yourself for 50 days, with the intention being to ultimately on the 50th day."
The Blue Whale Challenge isn't just one of the deadliest trends. It's one of the most sinister. The Blue Whale Challenge didn't technically start on TikTok, but it did have a resurgence on the platform. I'm not going to go into too much detail, as I have a whole video dedicated to the Blue Whale Challenge, but I will give a brief rundown. Unlike many TikTok challenges, this wasn't just a viral stunt. It was a series of increasingly dangerous tasks spread over 50 days, allegedly assigned to participants by anonymous curators. These tasks often began innocently, like watching a scary movie, but quickly grew darker, involving isolation, and ultimately a final challenge, ending your life. This challenge, which originated in Russia, spread to multiple social media platforms and eventually reached TikTok. One of the most harrowing cases involved a 16-year-old girl named Yulia, who tragically took her own life after participating in the challenge. Yulia's final social media post was a simple image of a blue whale. The Blue Whale Challenge went viral. This wasn't just a trend, it was a horrific and brutal phenomenon that the internet had never seen. After started to appear directly related to this challenge, panic started to spread worldwide, with media outlets covering this story. It was unstoppable. Its existence highlights the darker side of social media, a place where vulnerable individuals can be preyed upon by faceless strangers. The count of the Blue Whale Challenge ended up being over 200. A tragic and horrific joke created by disturbed individuals with no care about human life. Like, share, comment, subscribe.